It'll pull in all that data so that you don't have to manually enter that data as well. So lots of options. So first, I kind of like just to go through the support options that Moxie has, because there's a lot of different places where you can get information. So if you're ever looking for how-tos or support or videos, if you go to schmidtresources.com, find the MoxiWorks square, there's a lot of different resources here. So it's the link to log in. There's a great benefits overview PDF. So if you're wondering which product does what, that's a great PDF there. We have our Moxie Monday playlist. So every Monday at 10:15, we have a quick 15-minute training on one thing about Moxie, and we have all those recorded and they're right here. And then we have the support page right from MoxiWorks, and they have amazing content on there. Then we have some how-tos on importing contacts, and then our longer forum recordings are here as well. When you do go to the Moxie support page, they have some great getting started tutorials. So if you click on getting started, you can see present, which we're talking about today, engage, which is the CRM, the client relationship management tool, and then the agent websites. And you really can just walk through each of these. The best part about Moxie is they usually have a video and a walkthrough, or this in case just happens to have just the video because it's early on, but you can see you can just go through each step. This one has the how-to guide that you can actually download, and you can see it takes you step by step. So if you ever get into the products and you get lost, head to that support page and they have amazing content to help you along. Obviously, you can always reach out to us as well, but that opportunity for help is there. Further, when you're actually in any of the products, whether it be present, engage, or websites, in the lower right corner, there is always our help bubble. So when you click on help, it pulls up an AI, artificial intelligence chatbot, and it lets you type in questions, and it'll give you answers from the support page. If it doesn't have the answer that you want, you can click get in touch, and it will let you live chat or leave a message, at which point the support team will get back to you. So that option is always there as well. And not only is it in our Moxie site, it's also on the, and I think I closed my window, it's also on the Moxie support page site. Right there in the lower corner, always that pink help button. So always a good place to go if you're looking for more information there. So we are in present. So I did log into my.schmidtresources.com. It launched us into present, but I'm going to take one step back and just touch on a few things that were covered in the 101. The first one is your account. You want to make sure that your headshot, your contact info, all of that information is correct. In the upper right corner, if you click on your headshot, and you click on my account, that's going to pull up your account. Now, if you provided a headshot to us, if you've already been with us for a little while, this information should already be filled out. But if it's not the headshot you want, or you got a new cell phone number, or you realize your email address isn't the one you're actually using, this is where you would come, again, upper right corner in my account, and then click the pencil. And you're able to update your personal information, your contact information, and your bio. This information does populate into MoxiPresent when you're pulling in the slide about me. So this is directly where that information comes from. So if you're getting into present and you notice it's not the correct information, that's where you would want to head to your My Account from the upper right corner, My Account. If you do want to change your headshot, and you already have one in here, or if you don't have one and you want to add one, you see the little camera right there. When you click on that, oops, if you click on it correctly, you can upload new, and it tells you right here what your max file size should be, and it gives you the suggested size for your headshot. If you don't have a program to resize your headshot and it's not the right headshot, reach out to anybody in the marketing group. You can just submit online with Schmidt Resources, and it will they'll be able to resize that for you so that you can use it. Once you come to here, you just click File, you pull in the headshot that you want, hit Open, and then hit Upload, and that will upload the new photo. And again, that directly goes to MoxiPresent. It also will show up in Engage and on your websites as well. So it's nice you only have one account that you have to update in order to populate all of the products in Moxie. So now we're going to jump into Present, which keep in mind all of your tab menu items are here, and then based on what product you're in, you quite typically will have sub menus as well. So these are just some presentations that I've used in the past. They are test mostly. I don't sell, so I don't have active CMAs in here, but lots of test products. So as you recall from 101, you're able to create new in the upper right corner. And these are your options: buyer, seller, buyer tour, or non-listing. The non-listing one is really nice if you want to create a newsletter or if you have some type of communication you want to send out to your sphere of influence, but it's not necessarily specific to a listing or specific to a buyer. So that's when you would want to use that non-listing. And I'll show you how to create some custom content in there at the end. Not only do we now have Schmidt level, whether it's Sunstar, Premier, Paradise, Schmidt Realtors, just depending on what region you're in. We also have all of the content from the brand now. So we have content from the Schmidt family of companies, and we have content from the brand. So when you click on one of these, and we're just going to start with seller and hit continue, you'll see on the drop down here, you have my templates. So you can create your own template, and I'll show you that in a moment. You have your brokerage template, and then you have the templates from the Coldwell Banker brand. Now we are anticipating that Century 21 will have the same version of the template as well. It just hasn't been provided to us yet. So I see Michelle's on the phone, so I wanted to point that out for her. So I'm just going to go into our brokerage templates. Our default is 12 pages, but at the end, you can always add pages or subtract pages. This is just a jumping off start point. You can also choose no template. So if you want to start completely from scratch, you can do so as well by choosing no template. I typically, especially when you're new and starting out in the products, recommend doing the brokerage template and the default page here. If you click on pages, it'll show you exactly what's in there. So as we build out more templates, when you click on that pages link right here, it'll populate every page that's part of that template. So you can see before you even continue on that they're right there. So from here, you'll want to click continue. This is where you want to put the name of your client. It is consumer facing. Your client will see this if you're sending your product. So you do want to make it consumer friendly. So it can be John Doe, it can be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, whatever it might be based on your client. If you're a member of more than one MLS, you have the option of toggling back and forth. Unfortunately, we can't pull data in from multiple MLSs at the same time. So you'll want to choose the MLS for which property that you're wanting to do your CMA, your competitive market analysis on, because it will not pull in from more than one. So if you do have more than one, you can toggle back and forth. If not, it will default to your primary. Now here is our option, which is pretty exciting because it's brand new to us. It just launched, and this is how you can toggle between the classic CMA or luxury CMA. So if you're going up for that luxury listing, we now have that option to toggle to luxury. It's going to pull in some different branding, and then it's going to give it that luxury feel. So if you are going up for a property, 500,000, 750, just depending on what your threshold is in your regions, you have the option to choose the luxury presentation now. And from here, you click create. It will take a moment. You'll see the spinning circle. And then it's going to bring you up to your subject page. So you do have the opportunity to update that title right here if you choose to. And then you can see it walks you through the 5 steps. So no matter what type of presentation you're doing for the seller's presentation, you have 5 steps to go through. You can jump around. You can click on listings if you want to from here. You can click right to pages, or as you fill in the information, navigation is always in the lower right corner. This is where you have the opportunity to pull in from the MLS if you want to, and it will auto-populate your data for you. I was remiss in jotting down an MLS number, so I'm going to grab one real quick. And then that will show you how it will pull in the data. Now it's going to pull in the photos as well, but if it was listed by a different brokerage or a co-worker in your office, you will want to make sure that you do have permission to use those photos. And if you don't, that's okay, because you have the opportunity where you can load a photo as well. So right now I'm just on our consumer facing website, which is kind of cool because it shows our entire footprint all on one map, no matter if you're in the Michigan, Ohio, or Florida version. And then I'm just getting to an office so that I can pull down an MLS number. So if you've not been to the consumer-facing site, CB Great Lakes, CB Schmidt, Ohio, or CB Florida Homes, I highly recommend going there and just checking out what the product looks like. Now, obviously, you have your agent websites as well, which we also train on once a month. So if you haven't been through that course, that's something to look for coming up soon as well. So now we are getting an MLS number. We're going to pick this one. I'm just going to copy that MLS number right there. We're going to go back to present. I'm going to paste it right here and then click copy. Once your MLS number is in and you click copy, you're going to see it pulls in all of that data directly from the MLS. This is where the photo did pull in. This is a condo. That's why it's not an outside photo, but an interior photo. And from here, you can choose browse if you want to replace that photo with one of your own, or if you want to choose a different photo that's coming over from the MLS, you can do so here. But just keep in mind, you'll want to make sure that you have permission to use that photography if it's not your own. You can see it will pull in as much information as was put in the MLS. This is a condo, like I said, bedrooms and bathrooms. It did not, it did pull over the square footage, just not the living area because it probably does not have any subflooring or anything like that. So all of this information can be changed. You can add to it, you can subtract it, you can change it. So if you don't want the remarks because it was somebody else's listing, you can just highlight and delete those, and then you can type in your new ones. If you delete them, you can replace with default comments here. And that's not wanting to work for me. Okay, there it goes. So if you delete them and you decide you don't want to delete them or you want to bring them back, if you click replace with default comments, it's going to pull it back in from the MLS. This is where the price is in for here. If it's currently active, it'll tell you that. If it's not, it'll have all of these options for the status. Obviously, you can change it if you want, but it does pull over directly from the MLS. And again, like I mentioned, you can click continue from here, or if you scroll up because you want to review everything, you can always go to the next step by clicking up here. These are all menu items that are clickable. This is where your search is going to come into play. So it's automatically going to map it around your subject property, but you have the opportunity to change that. So without having changed my map, there's 2 active and 1 sold within that parameter. So if you back out your map, it's going to pull in more information. So everything that's on that map is what's going to show up in your search results for your comparables. So you can see even up here, there's 3 little red dots. If this is too big of a parameter, you can click draw, quick draw, and once you draw on the map, that's now your new boundary. So those red dots that were up there went away. They're still showing on the map, but because I drew the boundary, only those properties in the boundary are the ones that are going to show up in the search results. If you don't want that and you want to clear that over here on the map, you can click clear. That will go away, click exit. It's going to redraw that boundary again, what's based on the map. You can zoom in and out to get more or less comparables there. You can choose to include all. If you're like, yep, that's great, want them all, you can click include all and it check marks them. If you're like, oh, I didn't want to do that, I want to take that off, you can click exclude all. And then you can just manually check mark over the photo the ones that you want. That part's not really intuitive, so I do like to point it out. So you hover over the comparable that you want and click the plus sign to bring them into your comparable. You have the option to go into details. This will pull up the card for that property, and it goes through everything that is pulling in from the MLS. So that shows you right on this screen. That way it gives you more information so you'll know for sure if it's a good comparable or not. Once you have all of this data that you want for your search comparables, you can go to your next step. Again, you can go to listings or you can go to continue. On this screen, you have a couple further options. If you want to add a custom listing, maybe it was a created sale, maybe it was not just quite added to the MLS yet, but you have the data, so you want to add that custom comparable. You do so right from this button. You click here, and then it's going to show up just like it did when you're on your subject property. From here, you can pull in from the MLS, but if you're adding it, it probably isn't in there in the first place. So you can just add manually all of that data that you normally would pull over. But again, if it's a custom comparable that's not in your MLS, you can still add it to your CMA. So from here, it has display order. If you want to show actives first, pendings, solds, or others, if you click the pencil, you can change that. Say you want to talk about solds first, because that's more of the story, you can drop it first. Or if you want to talk about active first, you can drop and drag these. Just click save, and it's going to reorder those listings for you. So you can see it populated here. We also have our listing summary, and it's all color coded. Anything in green is always active. Everything in red is sold. Everything in that orangey yellow is always the pendings. And then the other statuses, if you're pulling an expired, off the market, whatever it might be, is always in that gray color. So you can also add adjustments to these. So this is something that will come with time. I'm not the expert here, you guys are, but you always know that if one property has a pool and another one doesn't, that does add value to the home. Or if one property needs the bathroom updated, it does take away value from the home. So you can add those adjustments so that you can tell that story to your seller when you sit down at the kitchen table with them. So you just click add adjustments. You can say needs bathroom remodel. And then this is where you'd put your plus or minus in. So if you're taking away value from the home, put the minus and then click save. That will show up in your final presentation as long as you choose the slide that has your comparables. Or if you would want to add value, you just do the plus sign and then the dollar amount. And then that shows up there. So that's how it works with the adjustments. Now going on to the next page, again, you can click estimate at the top, or if you're at the bottom, you can click continue. This is where it pulls up your estimated pricing. It's going to give you the estimated market value based on the comparables that you pulled in from the MLS or added manually. You can also create a range. So if you want to have that conversation with the seller, you can create a range. So you can do a 5% range, click calculate, and then you can see it gives you the range. Click apply, and then that's what will show up in your final presentation. You can clear the range from here, you can adjust the range, you can put in comments if you choose to. There is also an estimated net proceeds option here. It's not a super robust product, and most of our mortgage partners have better ones, but it is an option in here if you do want to have that put into your final presentation. You can see we're on the estimate page, and then you have those two subcategories of options. Going to our final step here is our pages. So that number 12 is the same count that we saw on our first screen when we pulled in the brokerage template. So the brokerage seller template is 12 pages. So that's why you're seeing 12 there. The 10 is for listings. So we pulled in 10 comparables. So that's what that number is there. So because we did go with the new luxury option that we have now with Present, it pulls in our luxury logo. Now, if you're not certified, it's okay. You can still use the global luxury logo if you're going out on a listing presentation for a property that falls within the global luxury parameters. So you do have that option to use these presentations, even if you haven't completed your certification yet. You can click through to any of these pages that you want to see what they look like. So this is our listings average. If you're like, wow, I really don't like that slide, it doesn't speak to how I want to go into my listing presentation, I don't want it part of my final presentation, you can click remove right from this screen here. And then once that's done spinning, you'll see we went from 12 to 11 pages because it removed it completely. You can click more. You can always view the PDF if you want to see what a PDF looks like, or remove it as well from clicking the three little buttons. So those are your two options here. If you want to add some pages, we have amazing content put in not only by the Schmidt family companies, but also by the Coldwell Banker brand. And you can do that right from at the top where it says add page and add from library. So these are your options here. The Coldwell Banker pages are everything from the brand. The brokerage pages are everything from the Schmidt family of companies. And then my pages would be anything that you've created yourself, custom, that you can save into your library so that you can use at a later date as well. We also have our CVX pages. So our CVX buyer profile is now available right in MoxiPresent. You no longer have to go to a separate product to pull those in. So if you click on CVX pages, you have the profile intelligence page and the profile map page as options. If you click the three little dots, you can click print portrait. That's going to generate that PDF so that you can see what it looks like if you want to. This is also an opportunity if you're not doing a complete listing presentation with a complete CMA. Any of these pages from inside Present can be rendered into these PDFs, and then you can print right from the screen. You can download it, so you can email it, and then you have those options to send to the clients. And that is on every single page within the Present product. You can always do that. If you want to add it into your presentation, you just click Add, and then it's going to spin just for a moment. And then you can see it went from add to remove because it now has been put into my presentation, and we're back to 12 pages. Click add again, up to 13 pages. You can always go back and remove if you choose to. Now on the broker pages, because this particular product is a global luxury product, you can see we have our black book pages and our blue book pages as options for information to pull into your presentation. So if you click on the folder to open that black book pages up, you can see it has every option, just like we have in our black book. Now this is still our older version. We do have the new version of the black book available, but it's a little time consuming to get it into Moxie. So the marketing group is working on getting that done. But most of this content still is up to date and still valid. So if you are working on a presentation over the next week or so, the information is still in here and available for you to add into your presentation. Again, every single one of these has the opportunity to download as a portrait PDF that you can use in an email format, or you can print right there from your desktops in your offices. And it works the same way. If you want that put in, you just click add, and it'll add it to your presentation. So now we are up to 14. When you click into the Coldwell Banker pages, we have a lot of opportunities here as well. There are vertical options and horizontal options. These are all horizontal presentations. So if you are doing this via a link that you're going to send to your seller, or if you're going to sit live on a computer with them, you will want to choose horizontal. Don't let these letters at the front be confusing. It simply stands for Coldwell Banker Affiliates, because we are a Coldwell Banker affiliate. So that's what CBA stands for. But we have our seller pages, our buyer pages, and then just like we do on the Schmidt version of the Black Book, we have the global luxury listing pages as well. So if you're looking for content, which we always all are, right? Content is king. There's just a ton of content in here. You can pull it into a listing presentation, a CMA, a buyer program, but it is also available to use as one-offs as well. We're going to go back to our pages from here. So we're going to click on pages. It takes us back to our list. You can see it put in our new information. I pulled in our story. I pulled in the buyer profiles. So it put it here towards the end. You can always rearrange these however you want. Say you want to talk about the buyer profile first. You can drop and drag that towards the top. And again, this is just about you getting comfortable in how you conduct your listing presentations. And as you go through a few of them, you'll figure out what works best for you. And then you can come to MoxiPresent and order them in the way that you want to present them. This is where you can save it as a template. So you went through a bunch of work, right? You pulled in some pages, you deleted some pages. Now you can save it as a template. So at the very bottom, it says save as template. So you could say, Carrie's Custom Luxury. So I'll know what that is when I go back. That will then show up in my templates under the seller option. You have the same option if you're in buyer, buyer tour, and non-listing as well. Click save, and that will now, this is just a warning because I've used that name before, so it's just going to override my other custom one. Sure, it's just for testing, training. So that now is template that I can use on the front end with other properties, and I don't have to do all of that customization. It'll be saved for me to use at a future date. Now from here, you can view. So if we click on view, you can always view in the web, or you can view in print. So click web. It does take a few moments to load every single time that you click the link. And the reason why is because it's on a live feed from your MLS. So if any of those comparables are updated, if any of them go under contract, have a price change, whatever it might be, that's why it always takes just a few moments to load, because it is live real-time data, which is great, but it does take that moment to load. So because we did choose the luxury option for our present, we have our luxury logo here, which is fantastic. It's black in color with white writing. If we had left it as the other kind of presentation and not changed it to luxury, it would have a beautiful blue background, still white writing, and then with our standard residential logo here with our CB star. So this is what your consumer would see. This is where that name shows up, so keep in mind that is consumer facing. And as you scroll down, it's going to go through those 14 pages that you had just set up in your pages screen. It always gives you the name of the page. So if you're like, oh, I decide I don't like that page, I want to get rid of that page, you can come back to your MoxiPresent, find the same name of that page, and that's when you can remove it if you choose to. So it always goes through the number count, which is helpful as well if you're needing to remove, or it always gives you that name. And again, you can just scroll through this presentation. This is where it will map out all of those comparables that you did find. So, you do this presentation today, you send it to the seller, perhaps by tomorrow, one of these could have went under contract. That will reflect in this presentation live time. This is the buyer profile that we pulled in from our CBX library pages. And again, we moved them to the top, then they're at the bottom. Same with the home buyer profile here. There's a lot of different ways that it shows comparables. So again, if it's too much, if you feel it's overkill, listing overview. Okay, I decide I don't like that page. We're going to come over here, listing overview. I'm just going to click remove. Now it's not going to remove it from this view because you would have to refresh the screen. But once you refresh the screen, it would be updated, or if you go back here to click view, it will be the updated version as well. So I'm just scrolling on my mouse, but there are navigation arrows in the lower right corner as well. So there's different ways that you can navigate through here. If you click on the hamburger menu, and I did that fast, let me go back. If you click on the hamburger menu in the middle, it can go to any of those pages that you want to. So if you've gone through the presentation and the Mr. Seller said, oh, wait a minute, can we go back to that side-by-side comparison? Sure thing, just click there and it'll take you right back to that slide. You can see it stays fully customized to you with your headshot and your name, and then your logo, whether it's Global Luxury because we chose that option, or it's regular residential. So again, it's just going through all of those slides that we had pulled in or that was part of the template. And then part of the template is, and I'm just getting to the last page, is always your information. Oops, I scrolled too far. So this is where your headshot comes in that we talked about at the beginning, your contact information there, and then your bio. So that's why it is important to make sure that your account is up to date because it will be pulled into all of these products, including Present, which is what we're talking to today. Going back into MoxiPresent, if you click more, you can create a quick flyer from any of those pages. You can assign to an agent. So if you have an assistant or if you're working with another agent or if it's an ASC or RSC helping out, you can assign to another agent at this point. And when you do so, it'll be all of that branding will be that agent. So if an ASC is creating one for an agent, they can assign it to the agent and then the agent's headshot, contact information, bio will show up. You can also add a co-presenter. So for anybody that's in the company in your office, if you're going on a co-listing opportunity, you can add them as a co-presenter. That way they will see the presentation in their present and they will be able to edit it if they choose to as well. If you're simply in here for training purposes and you don't want to see it on your dashboard, you always have the option to delete here as well. All of these same options are found in the dashboard, which we'll go through in just a moment. You can send automatically to your client right from this screen. So if you click send, it's going to pull up the email box. It's going to say email presentation. It pulls in that same title. You can send it as the live link. You can send it as the live link and the PDF, or you can send just the PDF. You know your clients best. You'll know what they prefer to see. The live link obviously is the one that's going to stay up to date with live MLS data. Obviously, the PDF will not. This is where you can start typing in your client's contact name. And I'm not sure why it didn't auto-populate for me. There we go. When you, well, it went away. When you start typing your client's name, it's going to pull in your contacts from your contacts cards in Engage. And I'm not sure why it's disappearing on me. Probably because it's just late in the afternoon and doesn't want to work no more. So if you just start typing a name, there we go. Oh, it keeps flashing away. Once you add to it, it'll show up there. You can add multiple if you choose to. So if you're sending it to more than one, maybe it's an estate and you're going up with 5 people, you can add all 5 if you want. You can put your subject in here. You can uncheck the greeting if you don't want to have a greeting. If you do check the greeting, that's where you could put in something like Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And then there's your body message goes here. You can send a copy to yourself if you want to see it in your inbox, but you can always go back to MoxiPresent on the dashboard and see it as well. Because I don't know who Alexandra Carpenter is, I don't want to send this to her, so I'm going to click cancel, but here you would click send, and then it would give you a confirmation. So now I'm done with this. We want to go back to home, or if you click on present, it's going to take you right back to the same landing page, and that's your present dashboard. So now it's going to be right here. This is my dashboard. Again, we're right in present. It shows up first here because I have my filter set to recently updated, which is the default. You can change that to sort by date created or by title, depending on how you want to see your dashboard. You also have the search opportunity. So if you're new and you've only done 1 or 2, they're obviously going to be on your whole screen. But you can see I'm up to 2 pages already. So if I come back here and I know that I want to go back into the presentation for Smith, I type in Smith and hit search, and it's going to pull up the 2 that I've created with the name Smith. So it's going to search the title of the presentation, and it will search the address as well. So if you're not sure on client name, but you know this is Park Street, it's going to let you do that as well. So that is the search functionality here. Now, just like those 3 dots on the last screen that we were just in, if you click the same 3 dots here, it's the same options. You can view, web or print, you can share, you can email, you can go into the settings, you can duplicate it if you want to, you can delete it if you don't want to see it again. You can also archive it. So if you don't want to see it on your dashboard, but there's maybe an opportunity that you'll need to use the same CMA again, you can always click archive, and then that comes up here where it says archived. This also gives you that same opportunity that we saw on the other screen for our quick flyers. And with same thing to assign to an agent, and same thing to add a co-presenter. So if you click add co-presenter, you can search any of the agents that are in your office. Oops, he's actually in there as a team. I do that every time. We're gonna do this. Oops. First name or last name, click search. That person comes in, you click add, they're then a co-presenter. So they will see this on their dashboard just like you do. If you go over here and hover, you don't even have to click on it. If you hover on the little clock, it will show you when that presentation was created, when it was last updated, and who it was updated by. So that's a nice feature if you are working with the co-presenter, because you'll know the last time that they were in there making changes on it. If you click in the pencil, it's going to take you right back to that same 5 steps that we saw when we first started this. So you can see that right here. And again, you have those same options when you go into more. So again, if you click on home, it'll take you back, or if you click back into present, it takes you right back to your dashboard. Let me check my chat box just in case. Okay, good, I didn't miss anything. Any questions on any of that before we moved on to customization? All right, great. So that is your standard template. Again, you don't have to add any content. It's all there if you choose to use it. However, if you want customized content, you can do that as well. You can do that inside any of these. So let's just go back into our pencil. We're going to go back into edit. We're going to skip the 5 steps and go straight to pages. So we already went through the step of adding pages. We added from the library. If you want to add a customized page, you click create new. You can upload a PDF. So perhaps somebody in the fabulous marketing group made you a flyer or whatnot. You can upload a straight PDF, a stagnant PDF right here. When you click on that, you just click choose file, pull in that PDF that you want, and then it'll be an option. If you want to enable page editing, so if you want to allow others to see the same PDF, you can choose the check box. You choose the checkbox, but if you don't want others to see this PDF page, you want it just for yourself, just leave it unchecked. And then click upload, and it'll upload that PDF. You can use it as a customized page right in any of your presentations. If you want to add a page from within Moxie, you click add page, create new. Instead of upload PDF, you click build page. It gives you some standard options. It always will default to this one. You can choose some of the other ones, but then once you go into the next screen, you'll have further opportunity to customize it. You can see what it looks on web, or if you are going for more of a printed product, you can go through and just from step 1, make sure that you're seeing it as you would see in print. I'm going to go back to web view. I'm just going to leave the standard one there and click create. Even though we left it at web, you always have the opportunity to toggle back and forth based on whatever view that you want to see. And because we pulled in that standard template, there's a banner here and then just 2 blocks here. These plus signs always allow you to add more. So you can see the number of modules. I clicked the plus, it pulled up this box. You can add 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it goes from 1 to 4. So you can see how that's adding that in there as I'm toggling that. Once you click OK, it's added that in. If you're like, well, I don't need 2 banners in a row, why'd I add that? You can always just click delete. And then we're back to just the 1 banner and the 2 boxes. So from here, you can really get customized. So perhaps that you're creating a newsletter that you want to send out to your sphere of influence. The marketing group may have created you a nice banner. Maybe you use it on Facebook. Maybe you use it in your email, whatever it might be. You can pull in images right here. So we're going to go to image. I'm going to use one I've already pulled in, but to take you through the steps, you just click upload. Again, just like any standard upload, you'd find your image there, click open, and it's going to show up. And the nice thing is these images stay in here unless you remove them. So you can always use them if you're doing a secondary newsletter. So I'm just going to pull in this image. So once you click on the image, you can click add. You also have the opportunity up here to do from web. So if you have a URL of an image, perhaps the marketing group provided you one, or you saved it in Google Drive and you have that image, you can do it from web as well. So on image library, you can see there's a little green check. It kind of got fade. I don't know if you can see that real well on the screen. And then once you click add, it's going to pull in that photo. So this just happens to be St. Croix, which is, you know, a very nice place that we operate, and we're very fortunate to operate in many beautiful places. So that pulled that into that image tab. Now you might be like, oh, well, that's way too big. I don't want that image. If you click on the little image, which is always the square with the 2 little mountains on it, you can come back here and choose a different image if you would like to, and then click add. It's going to overwrite the other image and it pulls in the image from here. You can add a URL because you're making a customized page or perhaps a standalone newsletter. You can hyperlink this to a website. So if you click link, you can type in, perhaps it's your URL, perhaps it's something that you want to send them somewhere else on the website. And then once this is a live product and it sends to the client, if they click that image, it'll take them right to that link. We're going to go ahead and delete that just for formatting purposes so that we can talk about these two squares. So anytime that you're adding, and again, you do that from the add button, you can add one module up to 4. You have that same option in every module. You can add text, you can add an image, you can add video, or if you click on more, and I'm not certain why that's not working for me. It should pull up a subset menu. Let me do a refresh and see how far back that takes me. So it took me back to this screen, no big deal. I'm going to click create, and then we're right back here. Let's try it again. It's still not working. So I will put in a help desk ticket on that and find out, but we still have 3 great options here. We can add text, image, video, like I mentioned. So again, image, you just pull in the image. If it's not already in there, you click upload and then add. And this, again, when you hover over it is when your menu option pops up. So hover over it, you can hyperlink it if you choose to right from here. You can also move it if you want to nudge it left, center it, nudge it to the right, down, or center it in the vertical. If you want to pull in a video, if you click video, it pulls on this box and it tells you you can use YouTube, Vimeo, or Daily Motion. So if we go over to Schmidt Video Classroom, we have amazing playlists. One of them is Office TV videos, and there's some great brand videos in here. This is our global luxury video. So all you have to do from here is click share, copy this link by clicking copy, go back to your Moxie screen, and then paste that right in there. So you can right click paste on your mouse, or if you're more of a keyboard person, you can Control V, or if you're on a Mac like myself, Command V. Once that YouTube link is in there, you click add, and that populates the video right in your custom presentation slide that you're building in Present. It works the same way for text. If you see right here, it will pull up that text box. So maybe you go to, and maybe I lost it, I had it open earlier. If you want to go to blog.coldwellbanker.com and get some content, you can always do that as well. So maybe you're doing a newsletter about how to upgrade your home to sell. So that's a great article that we found on the blog. If you click into it, you can copy the text. And I didn't go the whole way down. Let me just grab some of it in the matter of time. You can copy the text and paste that right in there. So it's the content from the blog, which you're able to use as members of the Coldwell Banker brand. And you can just paste that right into here. So you have a lot of customization that you can do on these. A lot of the agents are making newsletters with the custom pages. You can pull in a ton of video. It can be a video landing page. So maybe you want in your listing presentation 4 videos of previous listings so that your current person that you're going up for the listing presentation can see how professional that you create the videos are. So that could be a really great custom page to insert into your presentations as well. From here, you click save. You want to give it a name. You can give it a description if you want to. Again, this is for your use so that you know what it is. And then again, that sharing option comes here just like it did when you're uploading the PDF. If you don't want others to use your template, which is standard, we don't usually check it, just leave it unchecked and click save. It gives me the notification right there at the bottom that it has been saved. And this tells me that the MLS for this document is not available for the current agent. So I'm not quite certain what that means, but I'm going to click go back home. And it may just very well be because this is a test account. So it took me back into the main dashboard. But again, if you go back to the pencil, we can go straight to pages. We can add page, add from library. If you go to my pages, this is where all of your templates that you just created, customized, will be. So now you can add in that one that we just created, or some of these are some of my other ones. So for example, listing videos, I put in 2 different videos, but you could absolutely add more. So this could be where you would put in previous listing videos, and that could be a really great slide because then your seller during your presentation would see the products that you're going to provide to market their property. So again, once you create that custom page once, it does come right over here. It will end up in your library, so you can always go back to it. You can add to any presentation that you want, and then further, if you click on the three little dots, you can always edit. You can copy if you're part of a team. You can move it to a different folder. You can duplicate it if you want to edit it but not start from scratch. And then we always have our print option. You can rename it, or if you simply don't want to see it again, click delete. It always will give you a prompt just to make sure that you don't accidentally delete, and then you can click continue. So we did this with inside a seller's presentation, but if you are doing this as more of a newsletter, if you click on again on the home page to get back to your dashboard, if you click create new, this non-listing is a great option for that. It says right there, create interactive newsletters or marketing pieces using custom pages. So if you click that option and continue, there is the 2-page default non-listing, and if you click pages, that basically gives you your cover page and your agent profile. If you choose to use no template, you can choose no template there as well. There is also the there's also the Coldwell Banker templates as well. So again, keep in mind the CBA just simply stands for Coldwell Banker Affiliate. No managers on the call, so you don't have to worry about the recruiting presentation. But there's this great Coldwell Banker way. That's recruiting as well. I'm sorry. Apparently the brand doesn't only have the default non-listing here, which again, if you click pages, it's that cover page and the agent profile. But because we want to do just a custom newsletter, I'm going to go ahead and just choose no template. Click continue. Again, you can give it a name. You can also make these luxury just like you can with the listing presentation, or you can choose to leave it as classic. So I'm going to leave it as classic this time. And then I clicked create, and it's going to spin just for a moment. And because this is a non-listing presentation, you can see at the top, those 5 options went away and we're down to 1 option being pages. And because I chose no template, it currently has 0 pages. So from here, you can click add page. You can create new like we did, or you can come in from the library. So all of those same options that you saw when we were in the seller presentation are here as well. The Coldwell Banker pages, the broker pages, and then your pages. You can go into sorry about that. We're gonna go back to pages, go back to add pages, create new. Always will be the 2 options, whether you want to build a page or you want to upload a single PDF. So if you want to build a page, again, you have all of these options. Click create. And that brings you right back to that same screen that we are in. You can pull in an image by uploading a new image, or if you already have one saved in, you can choose to do that. Click add. You can add text, which again, this widget's not working correctly. So I will get an update on that. And the more widgets not working correctly as well. So we will have that fixed. You can bring in video as long as you have the URL link. So let's come back over here. We'll just pick a different video. We'll go back to Schmidt Video Classroom. So if you go to Schmidt Video Classroom, the link's also in Schmidt Resources. We have all of these playlists. A lot of them are training, but we also have the videos from Coldwell Banker. So Coldwell Banker has their own videos as well, and you can always go to their YouTube channel as well. So once you find the video that you want to use, when you're on it, you click, sorry, you got to click into it. You can click share, get that URL by clicking copy, go back into here, and then just paste. And again, you can right click paste, or you can command or control V paste. And that inserts the video right there. Now, obviously in print format, videos aren't any good, but if you're using this digitally, those videos will be there so that your consumer that you're sending this to, whether it be your sphere of influence, or perhaps you sat at an open house and you met 6 people and you want to send them a follow-up newsletter, whatever it might be, they'll be able to click play once you send this to them. So again, if you click save, you give it a name, you can give it a description if you want, but you don't have to. Click save. And then that will be available when you go back to add library. It's going to be right in your My Pages test slide. You always have the opportunity to pull in any of these pages as well, but if you want to send just that one custom page, you can do that right from here by clicking send. Same options, presentation or PDF. Obviously, if you have video, you don't want to choose PDF. You can pull in any and all of your clients from Engage, including a group. So if you have a group list, so say you have, and it's not, again, not working for me quite the way it's supposed to. If you start typing the group, so say you have a newsletter group, it's your sphere of influence, and they're the ones that you want to send your newsletter to. You don't have to add individual people, you can add your group. So if you have your contacts grouped and engaged, you can pull that in right here, whether it be 3 people or 300, they will all get the newsletter that you just created to them, for them, and then just click send. And that option is right here as well. If you go into view, you can always view it on the web, so you'll see what they see. So we did choose the custom one, so it just is the Coldwell Banker logo. And then it always is going to be branded to you. And then there's the content that we put in for the newsletter. If we go back, we always have the same options that we have on the listing presentation and the buyer presentation. All the same options are in the non-listing presentation that we're in currently. Michelle asked if you have an MP4 video, if you can use a URL from your Google Drive. Unfortunately, you can't at this time. It will not embed it that way. You'd have to upload it to YouTube in order to get that URL. Good question. So we go back to home. And then right here is our newsletter test. Now it's that standard couch with the sunflowers photo, which is the stock photo from Moxie, because it was not listing specific, so it does not have a photo to pull in. Any of the property CMAs, the competitive market analysis, will have the photo that you can see. But keep in mind, they're completely searchable from using the box, or you can toggle your view right from here. You also have the opportunity to go to My Library right from here. This will be just the pages that you've created and customized yourself. So if you click your 3 little dots, it gives you the options that you had when you were within that presentation. But instead of going into a new presentation, you can get to them right from My Library. Anytime you see the cog in any of our Moxie products, that gives you further settings, and it also will give you help and feedback. So if you go into present settings, you can choose some defaults: primary brand, additional logos, PDF headers, PDF footers. So you have some options that will create those defaults for any presentation that you create going forward. And then when you click on sharing, auto send is automatically off, which is most likely what you want. So unless you are using it as like a newsletter feature, you probably don't want to have auto send marked on. So your default is off. Again, if you ever get lost in the product, just use your menu bar at the top. It'll relaunch you into your dashboard. And then in the upper right is how you get back to My Account. Don't forget the great resources that we have in our MoxieWorks Square on Schmidt Resources, including the support page that Moxie provides and all of those great getting started tutorials. So another question came in: do you need to get permission to use a photo in writing? So that's a great question. If you guys are looking for photos, the marketing group does have a contract with Getty Images, which would give us the copyright to them. So if you're looking for an image, you can always reach out to the marketing group. If you go to Google image search, let's just say Lake Michigan. So we're in Google. I just looked for Lake Michigan. If you come over to images, and if you go into more, not more, I'm sorry. Let me remember, they always change it, right? Okay, so if you click on tools when you're in the image search, it gives you this usage rights. So if you choose Creative Commons licenses, these can be used without having to worry about having written permission. But again, always reach out to the marketing group if you are on Schmidt Resources. Right at the top there, that online marketing project request form, you can tell them what kind of photo you're looking for and they can get that sent over to you. So that's the information I had for you guys today. If there's any further questions, we can stay on. Or if you guys are all set, I'll let you go. I do believe Judy will be back on at 2:15 covering ZAP, which is the Coldwell Banker provided not only website for coldwellbanker.com, but also another CRM option for you. So I appreciate your time today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend coming up here shortly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks. Bye now.